You are now listening to the Peter and Jake Talks Wrasslin podcast, a weekly review of Monday Night Raw and other wrestling-related topics. And here's your hosts, Peter Day and Jake Grandi.
Check, check. 1, 2.
What's up, what's up?
Put them up in the trunk.
What's up, what's up?
Turn the bass up. Hello, boys and girls. You are now listening and watching Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. If you're watching, 9 times out of 10, you're on YouTube. If you're listening, you're on SoundCloud, Podbean, iTunes, and SoundCloud. Did I already say SoundCloud? Stitcher Radio.
There you go.
Those are the ways to get this motherfucking podcast or vlog. I think I call it a vlog.
Let's do it.
For, best and worst
of the week.
Oh, by the way, I'm Peter.
This is Jake.
If you just now tuning in,
I don't know. I don't have one. Let's see. I guess New Year's Eve. We didn't talk since last New Year's Eve, have we? Wednesday, the 4th, 5th, 6th.
Oh yeah, our last one. Yeah,
that's when it was the 30th. So yeah, I guess New Year's Eve was awesome. So that would be my best. My worst is the damn cold. That's it. I've been so kept up with wrestling, like what we're going to talk about.
I mean, definitely. I would say best and worst is all the wrestling news from Wrestle Kingdom 10 to last Monday's Raw. That was a great show to me. And worst is me dealing with these printers. I don't know what it is about printers. Me and printers are not getting along right now. I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to run my fucking, like, I want to do like some transfer press stuff, and all I need is a printer. And I've ordered 3 printers, and they've all been a bitch. And I'm staring at the one I just got in the mail today, and it's been a bitch.
It sucks.
It's maddening.
That's how it is. New endeavors are always a little rough getting started.
Man, fuck that. This is just a simple printer. Just print. Just print, motherfucker. How hard is it for you to print? You're called a printer.
Yeah, it's not even your middle name. It is your name.
It's maddening.
That's shitty. I've been there with technology.
2 months. I've been dealing with this for like 2 months now. And I guess I have to clean that motherfucker, but I would imagine breaking it out of the box, I wouldn't have to clean it. So I just sent an email to Amazon, the person, to the seller. It's like, look, dude, I fucking contacted you 3 weeks ago about this same fucking printer. And now I put this shit in, I'm sitting back going, this is just not going to work. It's not going to work. Something's going to go wrong. And sure enough, something went wrong. I can't deal. I can't deal, people. So, with that said, we're going to skip over a lot. We're going to skip over NXT is developmental.
I'm sure we'll bring it up with the other discussion.
Yes, we will.
Sure.
We will. But we both watched Wrestle Kingdom 10. And it came on, Sunday morning?
Sunday, yeah. Well, Sunday, I guess Monday morning at 3 a.m.
Okay.
So, and it was a 5-hour show, so I guess it ended at 8 a.m. if you wanted to stay up and watch that, but...
Yeah, I didn't. I actually did. I forgot it was either... I thought it was like next week or something, or sometime.
Well, yeah, like, the time zone threw me, too, because for some reason, even though I know, like... 3 a.m. means 3 a.m. I was thinking it was actually the 5th because I'm an idiot. I was thinking it was going to be... Mm-hmm. But I guess they're ahead, the land of the rising sun. They're ahead in time.
Yeah. Did you watch all 5 hours? I mean...
Oh, most definitely. It took me a while.
I only watched the 4. I didn't catch the opening stuff.
You didn't watch the opening tag match?
Nah, not the Rumble or, Jushin Thunder and all them. Tiger Mask and all that stuff.
Yeah, that wasn't on my copy of it, so I must have not watched it.
Yeah, I didn't either. So it was like 5. Whatever. I guess it was 5 hours that I watched.
I think I don't know, man. It was. I would say it was
the first match.
That's the only critique I would say was that it was a little too long, like the New Japan shows are, and like the WrestleManias are, in my opinion. I think 5 hours, 4 hours for wrestling can be draining. There's not going to be a point. There's going to be a point where you're going to sit back and kind of look around like. What's this?
Well, I can deal with a 4-hour New Japan show. I can deal because I don't
I
watch
loved
it
it.
so
I'm just
often.
saying that's my only critique.
Yeah.
It was a little. These shows can be a little long.
Yeah.
But the first match that I saw was the junior tag match.
Yes, that's the first one I saw. So I guess it was 5 hours. It went by so fast, honestly, because I'm sitting here looking at my time, at how much time I have to, that I can actually sit down and watch it. I watched it in 2 parts. I watched it Monday night, and then I watched it Tuesday afternoon. And it went by. The matches, it got better as it went up the card. I'm not going to say it was a perfect. My only critique, it was more like a ROH. It seemed more ROH than anything.
Especially the first hour. I mean, we can, let's just run it down here. We had, for the IWGP Junior Tag.
Wait. First off, we had Kevin Kelly, Matt Striker, and Yoshitatsu.
Oh, this is another critique. Yoshitatsu is definitely better in the ring than on the table, I would say. I
enjoyed him. I thought he was badass.
He didn't say anything the whole time. They kept trying to throw to him because he was just blank.
I think that was the whole... Do you follow his Twitter account?
No.
See, his Twitter... I'm familiar with his Twitter account. So I wasn't surprised that he was giving really basic and like asking questions. He's a very simple guy. And they turned to him. I mean, he was on the panel, I think, for kind of that simplicity. It's kind of comedic simplicity that he has. And he was asking questions. He was more like asking questions and doing stuff. I enjoyed it every time he would come up because it was straight truth. It wasn't like an over-analyst. He was just like, no, that sucked. Especially when we would start talking about AJ Styles and that move. Yeah. I thought it was actually pretty entertaining to hear Matt Striker with all this and then Kevin Kelly with all that. And then he'll just have this really stripped down, simple either oversight or opinion or question.
Okay.
Yeah. And then like at the end, like say at the end when he was doing, it's like, what did he say? Because what is it? Okada said all this stuff. And he said, what did he say right there? He said, stay true. I laughed my ass off because he said like a whole bunch of shit.
I guess that could be funny, but in terms of like trying to get what he actually said, I mean, even his reporting was.
I loved it. I loved every second of it. Anyway, that was the commentary, and Kelly took the lead, if anything, not Striker. Which I wish Striker would have took more of the lead because I feel like Kelly has more, his voice is more animated for color. And then apparently Haiku shows up. He makes did he debut? Did you remember hearing about that? Haiku showing up because Tama Tonga is his son.
Haku, you mean Ming?
Mm-hmm.
Was that no?
Yeah, he actually showed up in the first. No, we didn't see it.
Yeah, we didn't see it. So it's.
But they talk about. No, I'm saying they talk about it like because it happened in the first hour.
Oh.
So there's like, from where we start. We missed out on the idea that Haku shows up. They talk about it in the show. And I was just like, when Tama Tonga shows up, that's
cool.
Like. I was like, yeah, that is cool. Because I don't know if he's with that company now or he was just kind of made a special appearance or what. But I think it was the first time he debuted. His debut in...
Haku's definitely not going to... He's very, very old. He's not going to wrestle.
I'm just saying, I don't know. For him to show up, I think he'll be in some sort of capacity with the company.
No, his son wrestles for the company. He's gonna just go watch his son at one of the biggest wrestling events in the world.
No, he was in the show.
Yeah, I know. That's just
like
the big. Like, he came, and then like they have legends on WrestleMania and things like that. I don't think this is. I didn't read.
Well, we'll just wait and see. All I know is that he showed up. He just showed up. So I guess at some capacity they'll use him at something. So yeah, he showed up in the Rumble in the pre-show. So there you go. So we get to the first match.
Well, why don't you tell us what it is?
Ricochet, Matt Sydal, Roppongi Vice, Young Bucks, Red Dragon is for the junior IWPG tag team.
IWGP. But
damn man. Did I do something wrong?
Well, IWPG, it's GP.
I said IWGP. GP. Oh, I have it PG. I think the autocorrect fucked me up. Sorry about that.
No, it's cool.
So who did you have winning this?
I don't know. I didn't think Red Dragon was going to win it, just based on this title seems to jump around more than a Hooker or something.
Or even the news of them just splitting up, and the news of either Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly actually going to the WWE as well. There's been some serious talks about that.
But everything I've read about that is they've been talking to Ring of Honor more extensively and everything like that. And I don't know. I mean, who knows? I wouldn't have said that all these guys were going to jump.
Yeah,
so,
I ruled them out. That's one of the
because I think with all these signings to WWE, what's going to happen now is every other company is going to make sure that no one else is going to leave, and I think the WWE, I think ROH can offer Red Dragon a better deal than the WWE can, because I think they'll just use them more, and they can go to Japan, they can go to PWG now, so I think like that. But as far as this match goes, I really like this match. I thought Cody Hall was a really good bells and whistles to this match, tripping up Ricochet, because we all know that he could do that great high-flying spot, to just build to when Ricochet did that amazing like springboard shooting star to the floor to Cody Hall. I really like this. This match was great. Great opener.
The only thing that threw me off, I actually thought that Seidel and Ricochet would win it, because they're a new up-and-coming team. I figured they would be maybe showcase a little more just because of that thing. They're not like hokey and like the Young Bucks. They're not as comic driven as, say, what Rocky Romero does for Roppongi Vice. So I was thinking, yeah, let's give them the rub. Who ended up taking it?
The Young Bucks won.
Young Bucks won.
Yeah, so they got the titles again. Rocky Romero was hilarious here, speaking of his comedy, when he was running around to see what side he had to get on for the big 8-man suplex spot. But did you hear the rumor where he might go to NXT to be a trainer? So Rocky Romero might jump. I even tweeted, I was like, that would be the most upsetting thing, because then you wouldn't even get to see him. With everyone else, you'll see him wrestle. And he's only 28 years old, even though he's a 12-year veteran. I don't know. I would hate to see Rocky Romero go for such a limited role. If he can wrestle, then it would be good. It depends on
his body. I mean, do you know how his body's holding up right now?
He looked. I don't know.
Do you know if past surgeries or reoccurring injuries and stuff? Because at that age, for him to decide to leave the actual ring and to go behind the scenes, he wants to be a lifer in the game. He wants to be a lifer. And maybe at some point he looks at the landscape and sees that his options are pretty limited as a performer, especially if he has recurring injuries. So if he wants to be an NXT trainer, I mean, he's a made man. He'd be able to show up there very much like your homeboy from the Decade, who was like the sensei to Tyler Black.
Jimmy Jacobs.
Jimmy Jacobs, same thing. You know, he's behind the scenes. He's doing his thing.
Sure,
he's making a great living.
It's not. I don't fault him personally, but I don't know him personally. I only know him as a wrestler, so I want to see him wrestle. So that was just, I guess, it's selfish enough as it is. I don't want to see him. I wouldn't see him as a trainer, so I want to see him in the ring.
There's always breaking ground. I love that show, man. But one of the things I wanted to get out before we move forward, because this happens a lot. And there's even a point where Matt Stryker addresses it as the referees. These got to be the stupidest referees I've ever seen in my life. Cody Hall's involvement in this match was very apparent. You would have to, he got into the ring at one point and lays he does the razor's edge and tosses, I'm not sure, maybe Ricochet. He tosses someone. Yeah, he tosses Ricochet outside. So the ref is like, I'm like, wait a minute, what's up with the DQs here? What's up with DQs? Like throughout the first, from the first 4 matches, it's like there was obvious involvement that the referee just kind of ignored.
There was a lot of that in the early going of this. A lot of weapons and things like that you don't really see a lot in Japan, just blatantly used.
And the ref was just looking at it and just sort of let it pass. So I'm like, I was going to ask you, is this something that's regular? Is DQs less likely to happen if there's outside involvement, or?
Well, this is I would say a lot, there's some, but this is more outside involvement than I've ever seen in Japanese wrestling.
Blatant, obvious outside.
Well, I mean, regardless, this is the most outside interference and weapons and things like that I've seen in New Japan. I've seen there's obviously the Blood and Guts promotions. But so this is new that they would even do this much outside interference at all. So I guess they're getting used to it. But the Bullet Club has made a lot of refs look really dumb, and I guess they just don't know how to play it as much as they do as American refs.
That Scott Hall spot just blew me away. I'm like, just ain't that a DQ? Ain't that a DQ? That's all I could think in my head. It's like the ref is there been a bump? What the hell's going on? But you get the 8-man suplex. Rocky Romero, he's like Santino in the ring. The shooting star in stereo, and that ends with a more bang for your buck for the Bucks to win, and it's their 4th time winning that championship. Yep. And at the very end, Cody Hall says into the camera, he calls out Kevin Owens and Neville. Did you catch that?
No, what did he say?
He just goes, some blah blah blah, Kevin Owens, Neville, and that was it.
Well, that's kind of interesting. That's funny. The next match was for the first ever never 6-man tag team championship. Yano with surprise partners, the Briscoes, which is always good to see them, versus Bullet Club members. I can't remember.
Yujiro, Takahashi.
Tajiro. And Tonga, Bad Luck Fale. Thanks for that one. I thought this was a good match, good little match. I really like the end where Tonga's on Jay's shoulders. Yano just like chucks a chair at him.
He hits it. He hits. I had to look at it again too. He doesn't hit him. He hits the rope.
Oh.
So
he was supposed to hit him.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, it was completely off. He didn't want to cause the DQ, so he hits the rope, and the rope causes him to fall. So I was just like to let the rope go because he's clinging on to dear life.
Okay, cool.
And he hits it with the chair. And I was like, did he just hit it with the chair? Like, goddamn, ref, someone call a DQ on somebody. But then they showed it again. I was like, okay.
Yeah, then he turns around to hit for the Doomsday Device. The Briscoes' first, to my knowledge, first ever time in New Japan. And then they win the belts. I love Toru Yano and the Briscoes. That's a great comedy team.
Well, Tama Tonga showed his ass. That guy, I could sit back and go like, this is like the Dark Uso. Basically, like he's fucking fantastic. I mean, his gimmick, I think it hides too much of him. I guess that's the approach that he wants. But like, I'm like, dude, this guy, isn't he young?
Pretty young, yeah.
He's pretty young. I think this guy could be, if the Usos needed a 3rd member, why not just bring his ass over? He's part of that fucking lineage. He's part of that bloodline.
No, I think that's the. I think Ming was always not a part of that. He was with them, but I don't know if Ming was a part of the bloodline.
Okay, more like homies, like
like
super homies.
But I don't know. So it would make sense. Yeah, that's what I've always wondered why. Like, Ming Haku has always wrestled in WWE. They even went to you even have his tape library in WCW. So it would make total sense to sign Tommy Tonga to NXT.
He was so excellent in his match.
He's great.
Bad Luck Fale, man, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
and Toru Yano, super over. This guy, I think he's probably the most over. Next to Nakamura and next to Tanahashi. Like, he's over as fuck. Because even when he got it to the ring, when he finally got it to the ring, the pop that he got, and just anytime he did anything, when he was trying to do his RVD shit.
Yeah.
And like him, it was one point he had eyes in the back of his head, I think. Homeboy tried to like take him out. He ducks right in time. And then he's like trying to do his shit and he keeps interrupting. He was over as fuck. But if there was a debut, if there was for anybody who was curious about who really stood out and who looks like, it was Mark fucking Briscoe. He went in like, dude, I'm going to become a superstar.
That Cactus Jack elbow was
everything he did. The part when he did the karate kick, the crane kick thing, that got a great response. Like, he knew already how to work the crowd, and it came off great. Briscoe was the heavy. Jay Briscoe was the heavy. He came in like he's like the Jason Jordan of the motherfucker. Like, so everything worked great together. Fale not so much, but they gave them the titles. They gave
Briscoes and Yano.
Yeah,
beat the Bullet Club. Yeah.
So, and that was like first of the downfall of the Bullet Club. Bullet Club did not do too well.
Well, they
after the Young Bucks won.
This is true. Yeah, the Young Bucks won, and then after that, we'll get to it. But this match, what do you think? Jay Lethal versus Michael Elgin, Ring of Honor title. It was really awesome. to see the Ring of Honor title in such a capacity in the Tokyo Dome for Wrestle Kingdom. I really thought it was awesome. I don't know what I would think if I was a Japanese fan, if I was like, who are these guys? I know who Michael Elgin is, but who's Jay Lethal? But I thought it stood on its own. It was a great match. I really liked the suicide dive by Jay Lethal, taking out the rail. It was bent.
Oh, he did. That's the thing. Normally, he needs a little more space to be able to pull that off. Because he always does that. Like the three dives. The thing that took away from, I think, the bulk of his gimmick and this was the fact that he couldn't use the same music. I was waiting. I just wanted to hear that House of Truth theme song. I really... And it turned. They had to use. They even says it in the thing. It's like music had to change because of like music licensing and stuff. Legalities. So he had to come out to like riffs and guitars and stuff. And he had a little more energy in his the way he walks in. And I'm like, that's not the House of Truth that I'm not. I'm more used to them just sort of walking out slowly and like being very subdued. Like very subtle. Just like yes. Bask in my glory, but they were more braggadocious in the cameras, which I thought just threw me off. And this wasn't Jay Lethal's best performance, because if anything, he took more of a beating. If he did anything, he sold a lot, sold a hell of a lot for Michael Elgin.
Yeah, a ton of suplexes by Michael Elgin,
ton of them. This is definitely a showcase. I mean, very much like Elgin versus Moose. It was a tale. The tale of the tape was. Strength and agility versus strength and wisdom. And Elgin had the wisdom versus Moose, and Moose had the agility. And then in this, it wasn't like Jay Lethal was put out as someone who was really athletic, but he was someone who was very, very scientific. And what's his manager's name?
Truth Martini.
Truth Martini. He earned his cash.
Yeah, giving him the book. Lethal uses the book.
Dude, yeah, they work better as a team. Elgin on his own was showing his strength, but he was getting outsmarted the entire time. Every time that Jay Lethal would get the momentum change, so he didn't get really represented as someone as strong as say he is in ROH. But I guess that's the story that they wanted to tell, to really put Elgin over more in Japan.
I can see that, yeah. And then, I mean, Lethal wins the title. His contract is up soon, so maybe he probably, I mean, with as strong as they're putting him over in the Tokyo Dome, he might re-sign to Ring of Honor. But
the deadlift, Falcon Arrow, that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And then, like, Martini takes a bump. And then he hits with the book and then the lethal injection for the pin. And if you paid attention, you looked at the House of Truth book, the Book of Truth, it actually was in Japanese lettering. Oh. The little details.
That's cool.
That was really awesome.
Let me go on to the IWGP Junior title. Kushida with Doc Brown. Taguchi was dressed up like the guy from...
Back to the Future,
which is his whole thing, versus Kenny Omega, who comes out with the Young Bucks. This match was one of my favorite matches when it came out over the summer. So I thought this match was amazing. I really like the spot where they do the more bang for your buck, but they use the trash can, which is another blatant. Yeah.
Like and they went balls to the wall with the involvement of this, and the ref is just like. He's like a deer in headlights. I was like, so there's no DQ for Wrestle Kingdom 10. There's just they refuse to do a DQ.
And then Kushida's working the arm throughout this whole match, and I think Omega really showed his skills, like offense and defense, in forms of like wrestling, where he didn't use that arm. He in fact did a power bomb, one-arm power bomb, which is an amazing spot. Not showing that the arm was hurt, showing the damage to the arm, but it was still not enough. Kushida won the match. It was I feel like that match right there, like all the other matches beforehand, I mean, it was good. It was kind of like New Japan shows always take a while to get going. So like I was like, okay, that was a good little match. But then this one was like,
you gotta open up the floodgates.
Yeah, this was Wrestle Kingdom right here. I feel like this kicked it off. IWGP Junior title. They're known for this title.
Kenny Omega. I think the last time I talked about Kenny Omega, I was like, it's something weird about him, something I can't catch on. I caught on to it. I've actually caught on to it. This one, he was less gimmicky. He didn't like come out with like the trash can and the broom this time. And, I think he let go some of his hair. I think
he's got more of like a mullet now.
Yeah, and it's gray. His personality came out more in this, not in a means that, like, look out for this guy. He's going to actually represent something really soon. So when I saw that he lost, I was like, there's something else for him. In my head, I'm like, Kushida's awesome. Kushida has a really good storyline of watch me ascend. Like, that's his storyline, watch me ascend.
Sure.
Kenny Omega, on the other hand, is a proud wrestler. Like, that's what I can get out of him. And I got this out of this match, and that he actually could be a leader. You know, there's foreshadowing. We find out later what's going on, but like there's a lot of foreshadowing in this match that plays out a little bit later. But he comes out as the Terminator.
Yeah,
with
standing there.
With the Terminator theme, even with the Terminator music.
I guess it's like the battles of the 80s movies. You know,
Yes.
we had Back to the Future and then versus the Terminator.
And another thing that threw me off was that Kushida, it's one thing that this is New Japan. You know, New Japan, I'm not compared to ROH, I'm not compared to WWE. But when he started working the arm, I was like, dude, shouldn't that be something that Kenny Omega should be doing as a heel? Like, that's what the heels do, work a body part and move it like that.
He's already known for... that's his move. That's his spot. So, like, he's going to... It's more of teasing a finisher than it is, like, a calculated working a body part.
Mm-hmm.
But also in Japan, like, besides, like, you know, some, like, the Bullet Club and, like, the original NWO and everything like that, like, heels and faces, it's not as defined usually.
Mm-hmm.
So, that would just be seen
There's a blurred line.
Yeah, that's more seen as just, like, strategy is strategy.
Strategy is strategy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah, Kushida wins. Another Bullet Club member goes down in flames.
Yeah.
He taps out too, huh?
Taps out. Yeah, that was a great fucking match. I think now looking back on it, I want to say top 3 on this show. I'm gonna keep thinking about it and pick my best match, I guess, throughout the
Well,
review.
I think moving forward, I would say this tag team right here was fun to watch, but I don't think it was like the ultimate.
It wasn't like what New Japan's known for.
Yeah, it wasn't like the ultimate showcase, but like you got the two biggest. I mean, Amna, man,
Hanma, yeah.
that guy is over.
He was super over. He's kind of like I would say like New Japan's Daniel Bryan. Like everyone knows he's been wrestling in the Indies and everything like that in Japan for 20 years. He has a 20-year career, and then they keep teasing that he's going to win these titles. Most recently, when he faced Ishii for the Never title, and they keep saying,
great performance.
Keep saying he's going to win these titles. And then this was his versus the Bullet Club, Carl Anderson and
Makabe, with Makabe and Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. More foreshadowing to later. Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson lose another Bullet Club. Anything that you wanted to point out in this match that stands out? Like,
I mean, I think this was not as good of a match as the others, but this was a way better, one of the best storylines on the show. I think Hanma finally winning a title in New Japan, a 20-year. This was like the culmination of a 20-year character, like right here, Hanma winning the title.
And Makabe, he's a legend. He's a badass.
He's a badass.
If he walked into a room,
these guys play off each other very well. And we've seen Carl Anderson's and Gallows with the belt numerous of times. This belt meant more on these guys, I think, and I'm stoked. I love this.
What was the trophies that they already had?
They won the Global Tag League tournament for the chance to face the champions.
Almost like a G1.
Yeah, and that's when Tanahashi and Michael Elgin teamed, and that's what a lot of Michael Elgin seems to have found his new home, I think, in New Japan.
When he went to do that first headbutt, that's all I wait for is him to do that stiff, because he gets them down and he fucking goes and he just stiffens up and just falls directly. Yeah. That's what's so great about him. He commits to it wholeheartedly every fucking time. There's no flinch, no nothing. He goes boom, and it's like he misses and he builds the suspense. So when he finally hits it, the crowd fucking loses it. He does the big headbutt off the top rope. That place goes fucking unhinged. Yeah. And we're talking like a Japanese, and this is weird too, because we're talking about Japanese crowd that is very, very, very subdued.
Traditionally, yeah.
Traditionally, the more quiet you are, the more likely it's a show of sign of respect. I don't know what's happening if New Japan fan bases are getting more westernized. The Beast in the East was a big like showing of that, like how they were more Americanized and how they were cheering and stuff. But from this match, the Kushida match moving forward, by the time they got to the end of the show, they were unhinged. Yeah. It was like a wrestle. It was like a wrestle. It was like a what was the word? It was like Attitude Era kind of. Like
it was cool, yeah. There, I mean, it was minimal,
on.
But there was like made signs in the crowd. There were chants. So I do think like the Japanese wrestling fan likes the way that I guess American fans act, and I can see that. It's better to cheer and do little chants with the crowd than it is just kind of just like watch to yourself. You know, you are there in the live crowd.
Oh man, it was amazing. And then they do the Hamna. I'd say the Hamna Day device. It was like not the Doomsday device.
Yeah, with the headbutt.
Yeah, with the guy on the electric chair. Mm-hmm. And then there's the big headbutt, and then there's the King Kong headbutt.
Yeah.
And Hamna and Makabe win, and they celebrate, and boom, foreshadowing to the fact that Carl and
so you didn't know about them leaving, but did you kind of get a sense like, hey, all these guys are losing?
Yeah. Well, for one, it's the head honcho losing, like AJ Styles, him losing to Nakamura. No, not Nakamura. We get to that. I'm talking about him losing to Jay Lethal, and then I didn't see him coming into this match. I didn't predict him winning. I had him predict him losing.
Yeah,
because of talks of him. Leaving, going. But like,
so yeah, someone told me
unraveling. It's the unraveling of the Bullet Club. I thought this was like the end of the Bullet Club. This entire.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when these guys were there from the beginning, they helped start it with Prince Devitt or Finn Balor. So these guys leaving, I think, is a way bigger deal than AJ Styles leaving.
I wasn't a fan. I admit to never really being a fan of Carl Anderson. I could say in this. I got to get more of what he was all about. It was more about Carl than it was about Doc. Oh, yeah. Doc was definitely in the background, and I'm very curious to how he's going to be. It's not, when he was in the WWE before, I wonder how they're going to utilize him now. We're jumping the gun a little bit, but like that wasn't a great showcase to me.
Oh, no.
At all. And Carl is just a badass. I think
Carl Anderson, to me, is definitely, I would say, a better worker. I think Luke Gallows is more of a character and the muscle, so he's just more of the showman, where I think Gallows carries the match. Anderson carries the match. And this was his 8th Wrestle Kingdom in a row.
Yeah.
He's been with this company, I think, like 10 years now. So this is Anderson leaving is a big deal. Like, Prince Albert or Giant Bernard is now the NXT trainer, and Carl Anderson held titles with him in Japan, and so this is. I don't know.
Well, we're jumping the gun a little bit. We're jumping the gun a little bit.
We got Goto versus Naito with Evil coming out.
Naito! I love Naito so much, so fucking much,
this
man.
Heel turn is great.
He is my favorite. He is my favorite New Japan wrestler, hands down. He's a fucking beast, man. And you know what? What's the name of that crew? They're called the Ungovernables.
That's what it translates to, loosely translates to.
Yeah, Ungovernables or whatever. The Japan, those fuckers are insane. The last time I saw them, I think it was the last time I saw Naito, I forgot which one it was. It was some show. But anyway, like he's just like, fuck you, fuck the ref, fuck the camera guy, and now he has Watanabe as evil.
Yeah.
And then the other guy, his name is Bushi, and I guess that's their little crew. That is the Ungovernables of Japan, and those fuckers don't give a shit.
No,
I love them so much, and
they showed the crowd, and people were wearing the masks.
Yeah, they're getting over. They're getting over.
And I think like this is the perfect time for, in my opinion, we'll keep getting into it, but this. I feel like New Japan doesn't really need a big presence in the Bullet Club now because they have this. It seems like this is more interesting to me, this group of people, and they're not like kind of like ripping off the NWO. This is like a new thing to me.
The Brood.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like they're dark. But they're dark, or the Wyatt family.
Well, I feel like the Bullet Club was like conscious straight ripoffs of the NWO. But I feel like this is like a Wyatt family, like a Brood, but not exactly like it. So I think this is a fresh coat of paint. If they can get brought up to be like the heels in the on the main event card, I feel like that would be amazing. But
Matt Striker tells the story about Naito, and Naito is a guy he's always done things right. He's always done things right, and then very much say like Rocky Maivia, the crowd starts to turn on him because he's too, he's not Tanahashi.
He's too bubblegum.
He's too bubblegum, and the crowd turns on him, and he leaves. He goes to see CMLL, and the crew the Ungovernables, they don't want to get the band back together. So he comes back and he's like, man, fuck all y'all. And that's when his shit starts to turn. But Kelly does a good job. If you don't follow the Striker, if you don't follow the product, that was a good way to see why this guy is being such an asshole. Why Watanabe, now known as Evil, is such a bastard. Yeah. He's a bastard in this. He goes out there's a part where there's a chair shot. There's this clear chair shot in front of the fucking ref. And then Watanabe just starts going after the camera guys. He takes out Captain New Japan.
Yeah, he just beats up Captain New Japan.
Just out of nowhere. Like, this guy's an asshole, man. Watanabe, if you watch ROH, Watanabe was just kind of like just a stupid gimmick of a thing. And he was...
Yeah, I was going to say, Watanabe and Naito were just drowning in being faces in New Japan. But this fresh coat of... It's not even fresh coat. It's like a fresh coat of paint, like a gloss finish. I think it changed their career.
The table neck breaker. Yeah. They break a table in the motherfucker and they break the motherfucker's neck on it. But then that's what Striker was like. These Japanese refs are the stupidest. That's what he says right out loud. I'm convinced because all this crazy shit's going on and there's no disqualification.
Yeah, Evil attacks everybody, but Goto ends up winning.
He has the code red off the second buckle. There's a ref bump in there. And Evil and Ibushi try to get in and attack Goto. Then you even get a low blow by Naito. Real asshole. I mean, they don't give a shit. Yeah. But Goto wins with like this sort of ridiculous brainbuster.
This was the only match that wasn't for a title. So it's
like Raven's flock here? This is like Raven versus Goldberg? What the hell's going on here?
It seems that way, yeah. I don't know. It looked good, but I think these are the guys. These are the guys that are going to be taking the spots of all these guys going to WWE.
But is this good? Is this a good loss for Naito and the Ungovernables? Because they could come off like the League of Nations, just a bunch of cronies. I mean, that's 3 against 1, clearly with weapons.
Well, I think with Nakamura gone, they gotta like solidify the guys that are gonna stay that are getting over. So I think Goto, and then later on someone else.
I love.
Will take strong wins, and plus, like with them losing, that gives them more of a chance to be pissed, and that like kind of fuels their storyline. So I think
do you think another member shows up?
I think another member shows up. I think some people come to help Goto, and I think this is going to be probably like 3 to 6 months worth of storyline. This feud right here.
We got Tomohiro Ishii versus Takasura Shibata, who's a badass.
He's a badass. Yeah, he was
Shibata. Spoiler alert: Shibata is a badass. Yeah. This guy is such a badass.
Ishii is stiff as fuck. Everyone knows that, but Shibata held his own. Really. Striking hard. I really like the spot where they sit down and let each other run and kick
dude. And I think it was really off the cuff because I think Shibata's sitting down. He no-sells the living shit out of it. And it's like, oh, fuck, okay. And Ishii sits down and is like, all right, you get one in. So, like, this is the match I waited for. This Open Never Championship, to me, is my favorite match of all every New Japan pay-per-views I've seen. Ishii, it looks like the last time he defended was against Amna, and that was a very close, but very vicious, very stiff,
hard-hitting for sure. Yeah.
My God, I mean, it's like you're thinking, is this guy gonna let up off this belt? And he beat
He beat Hanma. He beat Makabe.
Makabe, yes, he beat Makabe, and so it's like, who's this guy? Apparently, the storyline at Shibata, he left. He left.
There were so many. There's a shit ton of like young stars in New Japan right now, and I guess he got fed up and left. Didn't really like what he was around, so he came back, and now he's getting pushed as like the super young boy, which is like
okay.
Yeah, that's why he still has the black tights and everything. And did you hear they're gonna do like a New Japan version of NXT called Lions Gate, and it's gonna be.
But ain't that just won't that be just a promotion where what you call it started? Fuck it, Kenta. Are they just gonna turn Kenta?
No. That's not affiliate. That's Noah.
Noah.
But that's That's New Japan and All Japan used to be rivals in Japanese market, I guess. And then All Japan had some falling out. Like some people died, and like people didn't like who took over. So people split. And Misao Misawa, who was made another group called Noah. So All Japan is kind of like a shell of its former self. Noah is strong, which is like the people that broke off from New Japan or All Japan made Noah, and that's even stronger than All Japan is right now. And then Misao Misawa actually died in the ring recently, or a few years ago, and that was sad and everything. So Noah is like not affiliated with New Japan, but they like to make deals with New Japan because it's kind of like a fuck you to All Japan still in their roots.
And they were actually in New Japan last year. They made an appearance.
Shelton Benjamin's there, Colt Cabana, Chris Hero. Zack Sabre Jr., like a lot of world like.
But Cody Hall is part of Noah too, right? Was?
I don't think so. D.H. Smith.
Okay.
And is part of Noah, so that might be what you're thinking of.
So we get into this match again, very hard hitting. Just again, if you've never seen a Neverworld, if you haven't seen,
it's hard to describe what we're saying because obviously, like all these hits, all these chops throughout this whole card, throughout wrestling, is hard hitting. But this is just the next level. If you've watched tons of wrestling, this match will stand out for you. You'll want to like. It's interesting.
It's a tough guy match. There's no counters or no dodging the hits. One guy takes 3 shots, then the other guy gives 3 shots.
It was about 10 minutes into the match before we saw suplexes and things like that, and even at that, there really wasn't much of it. It went back
to
forearms, kicks.
Who was the strongest guy, and it's the entering of Red Shoes.
Yeah,
yes,
this is true.
I was like, where the fuck is Red Shoes? So,
he actually got out of the way. Did you see that move he did? Like I think Ishii was running at him in the corner. So instead of moving out of the way, Red Shoes jumps up, turns his back to Ishii, bounces off the second rope, and then does like a spin move to get out of the way. That was pretty. I thought you. You gotta watch it again. I need to watch it again. There was like. Red Shoes did this crazy ass spin move to get out of the way, like second row pop up. Like I'm like, is this a luchador right here? We need to see this guy go.
I think I remember seeing that. but yeah, it's forearm battle, sit down kick battle, chop battle, and it's just insane. Shibata wins with the PK, the penalty kick.
Yeah, right.
And we have ourselves a new
never champion. He's had this title since I think he won it last year at Wrestle Kingdom. So this is a big deal.
This when the floodgate starts to open right here, buddy.
Oh, yeah, AJ Styles versus Nakamura for the IC title. This was insane. AJ Styles comes out with no Bullet Club members with him. There's tons of moves. This was a really 50-50 style match. I really like the 450 by AJ. It's obviously he got his name for being high flyer, but I feel like he kind of like. Took a back seat for his showmanship and things like that, but it's cool to still see him hit moves.
But he was not on the offense. Nakamura had the bulk of this entire. The entire match was Nakamura like just going to AJ's ass, and you realize also what's his name, Yoshitatsu on commentary. He's more emotional. He talks more during this because, if anyone's keeping up, AJ Styles is responsible for ending Yoshitatsu's career for the time being. He broke his neck with the Styles Clash. It was the first guy, he had just broke away from the WWE. He's about to start his new Japan career, and his first match, coming back as flaming babyface. He's in a match with AJ Styles. He puts the Styles Clash on him, and it goes wrong, and he breaks his neck, and that actually started. Whenever they were talking about getting rid of the Styles Clash, maybe 2 years ago, that was because that was the beginning of it. There was someone else who got his neck hurt as well.
There's some guy Scottish wrestler from the Indies.
Yeah, and
I know that one guy from Scotland got a lot of heat for coming out and saying things like that, and I don't know.
So this move,
pretty much all he's known for is getting hurt.
Super protected. Like, this move, whenever he goes up for the Styles Clash, motherfuckers gasp. And even you heard a gasp from Yoshitatsu, which I thought was very interesting. He fakes an injury. And then there's a moment
that was a great heel spot right there, where he fakes a back injury, which is obviously, like, if you know, pay attention, that's the rumors that are going on the internet that his back's been hurting him and everything like that. But then as soon as the ref pushes him off of him, AJ jumps up and attacks Nakamura. Great heel move. It even got like a moan from the crowd.
And this match, Naka starts attacking the back. That's the bulk of the area that. Because he's like, well, fuck you, you're going to fake this? It's going to be real after this. Mm-hmm. So he starts attacking the back. The story to this is that each guy has scouted each other, like, immensely. They've just been watching tape on each other. So it's just like reverse after reverse after reverse after reverse after reverse. I mean, that first sequence of them just dodging and ducking each other's moves, it's just like, dude, they've been... It's like the tale of scouting and how to know your opponent. And that made it, they each trumped each other by knowing what they were going to hit each other with next. It'd be like if someone went in, you know, all of a sudden when people started like kicking Cena in the face before he does the five knuckle shuffle, or not swinging for him to do the what is that move, to do the
where he just, I guess he like, it's like the groin chop, yeah, where he ducks, picks him up and hits him in knee lift or whatever.
Yeah, something like, you know, before he hits him with the five knuckle shuffle. But like, this is just like super intense because everything's coming so fast.
Oh yeah.
So for them to know each other's moves that fast at that intensity was very impressive to watch. What is it? We got the Bumaye kick knee, the 450 splash. We get the Styles Clash with one arm.
Oh, yeah. It was great.
And he kicks out of that shit, which is like, oh, shit. He just kicked out of Styles Clash.
Yeah, hits the Bloody Sunday. Mm-hmm. He goes for the top rope, and then, Shinsuke starts getting his comeback.
He got cute.
Yeah.
AJ got cute.
And then that's when Nakamura takes advantage and retains.
He hits him with a fisherman carry driver into a Bumaye to the back of the head, and then he turns his ass around and pops him in the front with that Bumaye knee, and Nakamura retains. Yeah,
and this was having known what was up through just everyone texting me and stuff. I tried to stay off Twitter. I did stay off Twitter, but just people found my Facebook and like members of my family, friends, all texting me, telling me what was happening.
All assholes.
Yeah, I was like. I think I said something like, someone asked me, he's like, what do you think of da-da-da-da? And I go, well, I'll have to watch. And then, like, non-wrestling fans jumped in and were like, way to spoil it for him, bro. And and I was just like, yeah, I'm glad these non-wrestling fans can get it.
But I think most people are just so, when they see something awesome, very much like Star Wars, they're so intrigued to start the discussion with people.
Yeah, sure.
You know, but at the same time, they have to know the etiquette. I think if you're a nerd, right, if you're and you're a nerd, you're into nerd culture, you have to read the book of spoilers. You have to know at least the standard spoiler alert, what do we call it? Decorum? Whatever.
I would say like TV shows 3 months, movies 3 weeks. You know, like kind of like
live pay-per-view should be at pay-per-views and season finales.
Give us a week.
If you no, like
never.
But here's the thing: there's a catch-22 in the fact that you can't expect everyone. It's not like it's one thing that everyone has access to HBO. Everyone has access to watching, the season finale, but not everyone has access to watch New Japan 10, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I would say at least wait a day. I mean, I did stay offline. I was like, fuck this. And I don't have any close friends, outside of you guys, that know the etiquette that would even hit me up and ask me dumb questions and shit.
I hear you. And Nakamura wins, but then they
fist bump of honor.
They fist bump, yeah. And I guess I as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, this is what they're going to use to kick him out of Bullet Club. But I'm surprised Nakamura retained. I don't know. I guess
no, but he still has 2 months.
He still has 2 months with the company. He's gonna, and then I guess he's
wait for it.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Wait for it. But again, it was more or less, it looked like something that was a la Hogan Rock, the handshake and the turn by Razor and Diesel.
A lot of time when you see two guys about to leave the company for these big shows, they kind of cash it in. Like if you remember, I think it was like WrestleMania 20 or 21 with Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, where the match was awful. Stone Cold was the ref. And I was like, is this match going to be like that? It can't. But no, this was opposite. This was like, if this is going to be our last match in the company, at least against each other, we're going to go all out. I thought this match was great. And the main event,
and the crowd is unhinged too. Like, seriously, like, because Nakamura is such a star. He didn't come out with as much majestic though. Have you noticed? Did you notice that he didn't come out as majestic as he did last year?
Yeah.
Last year he came out like
with the crown.
Yeah, dude, he was Triple H.
Yeah, and
this time he came out, so maybe that was foreshadowing to what this was going to be about. But like, people love Nakamura. It's going to be a big hole in him gone. AJ Styles has the most protected move in the company. Maybe that was the first time that anyone's ever kicked out of that move, even at half mast. So,
yeah, and then we go on to the main event. You want to talk about the crowd being unglued? I think this was when I really noticed, like, is this a Japanese crowd still? Like, this is like chants for Okada.
It's Miami.
This
is like
they were going nuts, man.
Post-Mania in Miami.
Tanahashi comes out, then Okada comes out. I really like his entrance where the whole backdrop that's been like lighting up, going crazy for everyone, just went blank.
Yeah, I think that wasn't a botch.
I think I think that they wanted to go. I think because if you notice, it went to his what happened after that, and then they cut it. But even at that, I think it just added to it because it was like the one spot where nothing was going on, and that whole screen was just the spotlight of Okada. So it was just like,
I thought it was a
here,
botch,
the Rainmaker,
because he was about to been out there first. I guess they hit it too soon before he can get out there. So maybe they were supposed to spotlight him first. I don't know, but. Nevertheless, it worked.
It was Okada coming out. No one remembered that shit. Well,
Nobody
I mean, we
cares.
did, but like, yeah, no one. But this match, I feel like the whole show was good, but this match was amazing to me. It was worthy of the main event with storyline, 3 or 4 years building. Okada, even though he's the champion, has never beaten Tanahashi for the title.
That's what killing me. That was killing me
in this event in the Wrestle Kingdom. It was a while to build, but like I really loved how you could just see it wasn't one or two moves that switched the momentum. It was you could see the momentum swaying back and forth. New Japan is known for doing this, and this was right here. This was
Tanahashi. It was definitely a story of redemption where he came out like a house of fire. Like you could see that he was more intense than he would probably be because he's a very His demeanor is that he's confident and he was relaxed. I felt like he had a lot of doubt. Like he came off as someone who was, he felt like he was the underdog. So he came out with more intensity than he normally does. Like and Okada, he had the cards in his favor, and he basically presented himself as next man up. He was the G. He's the Roman Reigns to your Cena. You know, and you could see that sort of interaction play off where, Tanahashi was vicious, very vicious to Okada. I mean, you would think Okada, because both of them are super loved, both of them super over. You hear Okada, Tanahashi, you hear it from the crowd like almost equally, but it was almost as if the crowd was starting to turn a little bit on Tanahashi for being just a little too vicious to Okada. Just a little.
Yeah, and, I mean, just go back and watch this match. I feel like this one was definitely really sensitive to call. There's a lot of, the frog splash, the high fly flow, missing on that, Rainmaker. I think even Tanahashi did the Rainmaker at one point.
Oh yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah,
it goes insane because very much like the match prior, this was a very highly scouted match as well. Like they know each other. They know each other like the back of their hand. Kelly and Stryker are talking about Flair and Steamboat, and they're trying to convey this message that these guys, this ain't their first rodeo. So any and everything you see is just like years and years and years of competing with one another. They fill each other out. What is it? Tanahashi attacks the leg and the knee. They're working the knee the whole time. Okada attacks outside. He does not necessarily high five flow, but he dives on Tanahashi.
Yeah, over the railing.
Over the railing, yeah. Multiple dragon screws to both legs. They looked vicious. And this is Tanahashi, again, just going all out on his legs. He hits a first high fly flow on a standing Okada outside the ring. Mm-hmm. He almost gets counted out. Yeah. And all I could think was, wait a minute, if he gets counted out, is there a change in the belts? Is there an exchange in belts?
Oh, I guess I'm not sure on New Japan.
Because it seemed like a sense of panic for him to get back in. He didn't heal it out.
Must be. I don't know.
So,
or I guess he wanted to beat him, just to say beat him. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yep. That pride. You get a high five flow to the leg. I like that. Just
Okada. Your boy Yoshitatsu popped for that one.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Okada, a white noise to the knee, which was on his knee, because he did white noise to Tanahashi on the knee that he was working on. Mm-hmm. My God, the big elbow into the Rainmaker attempt, and then to a Tombstone attempt, and then back to the knee, and then that got basically busted up, and then Tanahashi goes back to the knee, reverse drop kick into the Cloverleaf Tamer.
Oh yeah!
Oh my God! He had that bitch. It was like a Tamer, because he didn't have him in the crab. He had him on his neck.
And this is when the crowd was really going
nuts.
Yeah, going nuts here.
You get a missed high five flow. The third one, you get another Rainmaker kick out.
Yep.
You get you finally get the Rainmaker and a kick out.
Then Okada hits the high fly flow for only 2. So this is you can see the frustration building right here.
Which Tanahashi returns with his own Rainmaker. Mm-hmm. And then you get a Dragon Suplex, high fly flow, what was it? Yeah, 4 and 5. Mm-hmm. Just repeated. Oh man, Okada kicks out of
4,
both.
Only 2 of both. Yeah, then you can really see. I think you can see frustration in Tanahashi, and you can really see the crowd being like, "Holy shit, this is when Okada is going to go," and they're going nuts.
Well, he goes for a 6th one that gets met with a drop kick.
Yeah,
and that's when the entire momentum shifts.
It was over. Yeah, that was a 6th spot right there.
And to another, what was it? To another DK, whatever.
And then I know it wasn't a finish or anything, but there was a beautiful German that Okada hit on Tanahashi, right after he did the drop kick, and I thought that was textbook German.
Yeah, and then he keeps trying to go for the maker. He tried to go for another. He can't get it. But he gets 2 in and a 3rd.
Oh yeah.
Well, he gets 2 mini Rainmakers, and then he just reels his ass in and fucking knocks him. And
Okada wins.
Yeah.
And
he retains.
Then they cut the promo. And he goes to the top rope, cuts a promo. So I think this is a big change in the guard. Especially Nakamura's gone, AJ's gone. Tanahashi, he's been on top for a while, but this is your guy, Okada. This is the guy that you need to put your future in. And I think this was solidifying it here. As he's as this year, as we've seen Cena, Reigns become Cena. I think we just saw Okada be the #1 in New Japan.
Because it's not so much the dissension of Cena as much as the ascension of Reigns.
Exactly.
It is the same here. It's not so much that Tanahashi is sort of fading into the sunset. I think he's going to go the Goto route, where he's going to become another type of champion. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to, at some point in the future, go after the Intercontinental
I can see that,
championship.
Yeah. Especially since it's going to be kind of...
And then work his ass off, because here's the thing. Okada, this is not the end. This is not the end of Tanahashi versus Okada. It'll never end. Until both of them are old and gray and ready to just give up wrestling altogether. It'll never end. I'm totally convinced of this.
I can totally see that.
Yeah. Tanahashi has way more title reigns in his system. How old is he?
Tanahashi, I want to say early 30s.
Yeah, that's still mad young.
Yeah.
It's still super young. He just got the best of him here. For
the first time ever, though, so it was a gigantic deal. I'm stoked. This is a great
You just can't go back to that well for a while now.
Yeah, and speaking of, I think one of the big things about New Japan was there was a lot of rematches on this show. There was a lot of matches that you've already seen I feel like with their success, they got a little complacent. But now there's going to be a big power vacuum right there.
Yes.
We've already alluded to it. You probably already know Nakamura, AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, and Doc Gallows all most likely. I mean, it hasn't been official, but most likely going to the WWE.
They are on .com. Like the rumor of them, pictures, names, and everything.
That has happened. And Dave Meltzer was the first one to announce it. So that definitely adds a lot of legitimacy. But
Beast in the East started it all.
Yeah. Well, AJ Styles was making $300,000 a year in TNA. They offered him $200,000 a year, and he turned it down. And he went to the Indies. So that means that they're paying him money. AJ Styles, they have to give him money for him to turn it down because he's a family guy. He's getting old, which would mean that he's not making NXT money. He's making WWE money. So,
but that's the point. I don't see a talent like him going straight to NXT.
Do you think? And I mean, we got the Rumble coming up. Why not? Why not have the? And it's in Miami, Florida, where TNA is filmed. Why wouldn't you have him coming out for the Rumble? Do you see that happening?
And plus, if you're trying to push guys like Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews, you're trying to push
Finn Balor,
Osaka.
I mean, there's obviously that dream match right there with Finn, the first leader of the Bullet Club,
Nia
and AJ
Jax.
Styles.
I mean, you have to look at this as a whole. You can't look at it as a women's or men's division. With Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair. You see stars. You're not looking at men versus women. You're looking at ultimate stars. And the influx of Nakamura, and, say, AJ Styles, they're all fucked. All the attention is not on Nia Jax anymore. No one gives a shit about her progress anymore. No one gives a shit about Uhaa Nation or Cruz or Corbin anymore. No one gives a shit about Joe, even to a certain extent. Those guys hold so much weight. They have so much legend to them to where they can't go to NXT.
So you're saying that
they can't go. They're gonna go down there
with the roster so thin in the WWE. We'll get to it, but
they will do house shows, dark matches
first.
Yeah,
no,
just to sort of get into the groove because
they can't do that because they got to have the debut. This big of a debut has to be. This is going to be a Rumble entrance. That's what I'm predicting.
No, but I'm saying they still got to get adjusted. They still have to get adjusted to the speed of the WWE. It's still going to be a high work rate, and I think that's what these guys are. They're high work rate guys. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what I talked about in Peter's Raw recap. Is that like the meat potatoes of the WWE moving forward, whether Vince likes it or not. Is the high work rate. That's what this Raw was. A high work rate Raw. A higher work rate Raw than normal.
Well, before we get there, what do you think about is Nakamura gonna?
Did you see the video you saw the video of Kenny Omega?
I didn't see the video. I read about it.
So what do we want to talk about first? What do we want to talk about first right now?
Well, well, I mean, we obviously AJ is going to be successful in the WWE. He's making. To even have this deal, he's going to be making exceedingly more money than anybody in NXT. So he's probably doing all right, at least on that. But Nakamura, how is he going to be using Vince? I mean, he's a old, chubby Asian guy who doesn't speak very good English. Is Vince going to like him? I mean,
I don't think Vince is going to have a say in this. I think he's going to have to step his old ass to the side for this. I think Stephanie and Triple H are going to manage him. I think they're going to be the agents, and it's like it would make sense because
so you see him going straight to the WWE, not NXT.
Again, this is what we were talking about a week ago in terms of NXT lifers or buyouts and all that stuff. Nakamura, no, he can't go to NXT. I think, and the gimmick in itself, it's like how is he going to be handled? And if he goes to the main roster and he still can keep remnants of Nakamura from Japan and he can actually keep his name, then that's all Triple H. He's going to get that Samoa Joe deal.
Yeah.
But man, his star power and the fact that we find out on Raw, they just opened the WWE Network
in Japan.
Japan.
This is obviously a talent raid, and
I don't think it's a talent raid.
I mean, you're taking 4 of their top 10 stars, and then saying that your big promotion, your big network is going to be available in Japan.
It's only a raid if the guys went behind each other's backs, and no one went behind each other's back. This was all business.
Well, I don't know about. I mean, I didn't know the definition of a raid, but you're picking 4 of their top 10, and you're just snagging them. And I mean, it's
if I could say,
and then deciding. I mean, I don't think it was lower or
underhanded
at all. But I definitely think they thought, hey, New Japan's building a lot of momentum. If we don't attack, we're gonna lose it.
But Nakamura got in touch with Triple H to do a demonstration for him. Do you remember we were talking about that?
Yeah,
like we were just like, dude, what if, man? What if, man? Like,
well, there's been talks for months. About Nakamura jumping. He really loves American culture, loves American food and like David Bowie and things like that.
In the end, man. Well, David Bowie's British.
Well, westernized, yeah.
But in the end, you always want to play for the big boys. You always want to. I don't care who you are, where you are, and in terms of your gimmick, in terms of your workload and your income. When that bottom of that check says Vincent Kitty McMahon, if you saw the last Breaking Ground and Tyler Breeze getting called to the main roster, it's like a dream come true. You know, he stood there. It's just like, yo, you know, Triple H says, Tyler Breeze, come down, and they sat there and they gave him a standing ovation. Like your dream has finally been made. Like even though he's poorly utilized in the main roster, he's there.
Yeah.
And anybody, that's why Kenta came over, because his thing was like, I want to be on that main roster for the WWE. It's a dream. It has to be.
You bring up Kenta. What do you think? I mean, he was supposed to be their Asian guy. You know, I'm not saying that, but that just was the rumors. That seems to be how Vince looks at it. But now you got Nakamura. Does he take a back seat because of his injuries? They don't want to have another Daniel Bryan, or what do you think happens?
Either A, tag him up, or have them go at each other immediately. You start the feud between those two, and they start off with that high-powered, high-rate, strong style.
Yeah.
Fuck it. And it would be beautiful. I mean, they would scale it down.
So you're saying Nakamura goes to NXT first?
No, I'm saying like they call up all those guys. I mean, there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room on the main roster. What you think about it? I mean, a lot of room with injuries and people on the way out. There's a lot of room. And you don't sit on this talent. You sit on Cruz. You sit on Joe. And I still think Joe's a lifer down at NXT. I don't see him ever going to the main roster. You sit on Balor. Those guys, all right, they're super young. You can only get but so much out of Nakamura right now. You can only get but so much because he's in his 30s.
Well, yeah.
You know, he's in his prime. You jump on that, and then by the time that he does his thing, maybe a year, 2, 3 years, boom, first ballot Hall of Fame kind of guy. Then by that time, your Kentas, your Finns, all those guys, your Baron Corbins, they're in their 30s. They're in their prime.
Well, Kenta and Finn and Joe are all in their 30s now. So that's the thing. It's like someone's going to get shafted here.
No, I don't think they're going to get shafted.
Well, not shafted.
I think there's room. If they team them up and shit, throw Asuka in there. I mean, if they don't make them into like some racist stable.
Well, that's the whole that's the fear. That's definitely the fear.
That's if
they're one generation
Vince,
from having a bone in their nose.
No, they're one generation away.
Mr. Fuji being their manager
for speaking in subtitles.
Yeah.
That was basically.
Yeah.
And that would be whose fingerprints are on this. And I think if they did come out and like some bullshit racist sort of thing.
They're gonna get called out.
Oh, dude, it's gonna get rejected.
It's not the. I think they could do that, but with the age of how everyone's complaining and how popular and beloved Nakamura is,
we're in a different day and age too.
Well, what do you think about the other guys they signed? Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows.
Well,
what's gonna happen with them?
Kenny Omega, Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows. They turned on AJ Styles the next day. They turned on him. Like the way they did Young Bucks. And Kenny Omega, he calls out, because there's two sides to this. They got a new star because those guys will be leaving. Again, they got 2 more months. I know Nakamura does. Mm-hmm. And I think even Doc Gallows and them, they're still on contract. And when that shit expires, they'll just go over to the WWE. But like the storyline now is to make Kenny Omega the guy, and he calls out Nakamura when they finally turn on AJ. We gave you the big matches, we gave you the money, and you failed.
Yeah.
And I'm no longer a junior. Nakamura, coming for you, nigga. You know, basically.
Well, what do you think is going to happen with Gallows and Anderson?
Anderson, Gallows. You know who I feel bad for in that situation? Because they will go to NXT. They will go.
Yeah,
I feel bad for James Storm.
Well, no, James left. He re-signed with TNA.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is apparently they didn't say numbers, but he said that the number wasn't right in NXT, so he signed a $100,000 deal with TNA.
Shit.
Yeah, and because they had their big Pop TV, and they took Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis, and they showed up on TNA, and then Beer Money, Robert Roode, and. Because Robert Roode there was rumors that he was going to leave, so I guess they got Beer Money back, and now they have Michael Bennett, and that's the big Pop TV CBS merger. Because apparently it's not like Destination America. There's a lot of things coming out that Pop TV really likes it. They apparently a lot of higher ups that run Pop TV even into the CBS realm get a kick that they have wrestling. They see it as like. It seemed as though it was like they were all wrestling fans growing up, and they just like kind of like that they have it, which is what Ted Turner was. He just kind of liked that he had it. So it looked like they found their home here. So we might see some footing.
Some Saturday morning.
Yeah, some Saturday morning stuff getting together. It looks like maybe not too big. I mean, let's not jump it, but it seems like it's definitely better than Destination America at this point. Yeah, and you got James Storm over there.
So I was saying, okay, then Dash and Dawson
would jump to TNA.
I'm just saying, with Anderson and Doc coming over.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Yeah, there's
no room for those guys.
No,
I mean it's sort of, I'm gonna say similar gimmicks, but like you look at an up and coming tag team that don't really got it. They don't have. I mean, to me, right?
I like them, but I definitely see what you're talking about. They don't have. It's not. There's a WWE that makes them kind of look a little silly.
They're one sideburn away. They're one less sideburn away from being J&J security to a certain extent. And you look at a guy like Carl Anderson. He got charisma. The guy can talk. He doesn't need training to talk. The guy's he knows the business. Same with Doc Gallows.
Well,
you gotta.
Doc Gallows had the Baylor teeth, the Baylor Club. He had like someone pointed out to me that he had a little bit of like, the Baylor Club logo with the teeth. He had the teeth on his pants. So that might be something there.
I'm just saying, those guys, you ain't gotta develop much out of those guys once you think about it.
No.
So we'll see, man. Omega, I want to see Omega. I'm going to keep up with the whole Omega story. I'm going to keep up with the new Bullet Club story. Because
and then you also have Ibushi, who wrestled against Nakamura last year. He's injured, and he was a gigantic star in DDT. So was Omega, and he can draw. He wrestled AJ Styles for the belt earlier this year, and they had a great match, and he's a proven moneymaker in Japan for other companies. So they're not gonna hurt. They're not hurting after this.
They got new guys to bring up, man.
Because it looked like they were getting a little complacent. Like they had a lot of rematches. They had a lot of things like that. So now that they're gonna be forced not to have rematches, I think it's only gonna make it better. I think maybe Omega might win the IC title and then have Ibushi wrestle right there, and then
Ibushi he faced Nakamura last year in Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, he did.
That was the first time seeing him.